A struggling single father, already carrying the weight of raising his own child alone and struggling to make ends meet, was going about his daily life when he stumbled upon a young girl lying unconscious, her life hanging by a thread. In that heart-stopping moment, he faced a choice: walk away, overwhelmed by his own troubles, or act with courage and compassion. Without a second thought, he set aside his fears, his financial struggles, and the uncertainty of what might happen, and he rushed to save her. Every second mattered, and every action he took reflected the purest form of humanity, the instinct to protect and help without expecting anything in return. This was a man who had known hardship his whole life. Late nights worrying about bills, skipped meals, and sleepless nights trying to provide even the smallest comforts for his child. Yet none of that stopped him from risking everything to save a stranger. In that instant, wealth, status, and social standing became meaningless. What mattered was the courage to act when someone's life depended on it. As he fought to keep her alive, there was no thought of reward or recognition. Only the urgent, selfless drive to give a child a chance to breathe, to survive, to live. This act of bravery wasn't just about saving one life. It was a testament to the idea that heroism often comes from the most unlikely places. In a world obsessed with money and power, his actions reminded everyone that true humanity is measured not by what we own, but by what we are willing to risk for the sake of another. Little did he know, the girl's life was about to connect him to a world far beyond his imagination, a world of immense wealth, influence, and opportunity. But in that defining moment, none of that mattered. What mattered was the courage in his heart and the unwavering choice to do what was right. The man had no clue that the fragile little girl he had just rescued was not an ordinary child. She was the daughter of a powerful billionaire, a young girl whose life was normally surrounded by luxury, protection, and privilege. To him, she was simply a small, helpless soul gasping for life, someone who needed immediate care and compassion. Every action he took, holding her, comforting her, and getting her to safety, came purely from instinct, from the heart of a father who knew the meaning of struggle and loss. Meanwhile, the world outside was beginning to stir. News of a mysterious rescue reached the ears of those who knew the girl's family, and the story started spreading. A poor single man acting alone had saved the life of the billionaire's child. What had started as a private act of kindness was now becoming a public story, one that blurred the lines between two completely different worlds. For him, it was still about her safety, her fragile breathing, and keeping her alive. But for others, the stakes were far greater. This man had unwittingly entered the orbit of immense wealth, influence, and scrutiny. The contrast was staggering. A child born into unimaginable privilege, now in the care of a man who had nothing but love to give. A simple act of heroism that, in any other circumstances, might have gone unnoticed, was about to become a headline story. Yet for him, there was no thought of fame, no desire for reward. All he knew was the urgency of the moment, the responsibility he felt for a life in his hands. This shocking twist of fate, where two worlds collide in an unexpected way, highlights the power of pure human kindness. One small act, performed without expectation, has the ability to ripple far beyond imagination, forever changing lives and challenging the way we see the boundaries between wealth, power, and true heroism. When the billionaire father finally discovered the identity of the man who had saved his daughter, the world shifted for both of them. For the poor single dad, a man who had spent his life struggling to make ends meet, this revelation was nothing short of life-changing. What had begun as a desperate, instinctive act to save a child now opened doors he never imagined, forcing him to navigate a world of wealth, privilege, and power, a world that until now had seemed completely out of reach. Yet even amidst the shock and sudden attention, one thing remained clear. He had acted purely out of compassion, without any expectation of reward, fame, or recognition. His selfless courage had created ripples far beyond the moment of the rescue. The billionaire father, deeply moved by the man's bravery and character, recognized that heroism doesn't come with a price tag. In that realization, he found a man worthy of trust, respect, and perhaps even opportunity. The story quickly became more than just news headlines. It became an inspiration, a testament to the power of human kindness and the unpredictability of destiny. One small act, born out of empathy and courage, had now not only saved a life, but also transformed it. The single father, once weighed down by hardship and uncertainty, found himself standing at the threshold of hope, possibility, and recognition. This moment proves a timeless truth, that goodness, courage, and selflessness are forces that can transcend social divides, wealth, and circumstance. One good deed can ignite a chain reaction, changing lives in ways that no one could foresee. The rescue of a single child became a story of compassion, destiny, and unexpected reward, showing that sometimes the smallest act of courage can alter the course of many lives, leaving a legacy far greater than money or fame ever could.